materials available to you. As the Episcopal Bishop of Vermont and a trustee of the Vermont Ecumenical Council and Bible Society, I stand in solidarity today with my brother Roy Hill, a tireless worker for racial justice and reconciliation in our community, in affirming the 2008 Statement on Racism, Brothers and Sisters Together, from the Vermont Ecumenical Council and Bible Society. As a person of faith, I stand in solidarity today with my brother Rabbi Joshua Chasen and other clergy leaders from our community in issuing our statement of concern about racial and economic justice in Burlington. There are two key points I want to stress from our statement. The first is racism is a sin, a deeply rooted disease of the soul. Racism is not simply prejudice. We all have our prejudices. Racism is about prejudice plus power. Anyone of any race can have prejudices. Racism is prejudice plus power, institutional power. And in the case of the United States of America, that institutional power rests now, as it has throughout our history, with white people like me. That is not to say that individual people of color or groups of people do not have personal power. Thank God they do. The students who have raised our awareness of the issue of racism in our schools and in our community by virtue of their courage in speaking out about their own experience of racial intolerance, these young people are a case in point. It is the race-based privilege of institutional power in our society that I am talking about here. Racism is not just their problem, it is our problem. It is my problem. And I need to acknowledge my own complicity in the sin of racism. In the Christian scriptures, Jesus admonishes us to remove the beam from our own eye before attempting to remove the splinter from the eye of another. Matthew 7:3-5. I've been working on that in my own life and in the life of the Episcopal Church for over 30 years. And the work continues right here today in Burlington, Vermont, in our schools, in our homes, in our workplaces, in our houses of worship, and in our civic clubs and community organizations. The second point from our statement that I want to stress is this. Together, we can help create a city whose public schools are a model for other cities and towns. I am hopeful that Burlington is waking up to the reality that there is something we can do in response to the racism present in our hearts, in our schools, and in our communities. Our children are leading us in this call to pay attention. The courage of the students, their families, and their allies who have stood up and said no more is a gift to us. That is where our focus needs to be, on the gift they have given us. In words of anger, frustration, pain, and grief, they have said, this needs to stop. Please pay attention. Please do something. Superintendent of Schools, Gene Collins, whom to my embarrassment I do not know except through the news reports, has responded to that call to take action. She herself has admitted her slowness in coming to the realization that she needs to respond to this crisis not from her head alone, but more importantly from her heart. In my line of work, we call that conversion. She has developed and offers to us a bold and comprehensive plan for addressing the racism in our public schools and ultimately in our community, and she wants to lead us in that effort. I have read her plan. I hope everyone reads her plan. More importantly, I hope we act on her plan. It is a good plan, and it needs to be given a chance to move from plan to action. I think we honor the cries of the young people who are asking for respect and recognition of their God-given dignity as human beings by joining in the effort to make sure this plan is successful. To do so means each of us, teachers, students, administrators, parents, elected officials, people of faith, and every citizen of our community must do his or her part to search our hearts and commit to the hard work ahead. I pray we will. Thank you.